Positive Power fans! It's Ginger Star with Positive Power! Oh, yeah. Hey, Positive Power fans, this is Ginger Star, and this is your behind-the-scenes look of my interview, Sassy Mohen. Sassy Mohen, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. I'm loving everything about what's happening right now. We need so much positivity in the world right now. That was amazing.
Thank you. And I hear that you're a director who really motivates people. You are all about women empowerment. How did you get involved in that?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't know if anyone's asked me that directly before. When I started directing so many years ago in high school and college, there weren't any scripts that people were writing that I really wanted to make. You know, at that time it was like lots of men and then me in the film world, or at least the film worlds I was in. So I just started kind of writing what I knew, writing what my friends knew, writing for those types of people. And from that, I just kind of fell into it, to be quite honest. I started seeing that filmmakers, like real true directors, they have kind of like you said, like a vision, you know, like Sean Baker's one of my favorite directors, and he does films about sex workers and that sort of field. And like Ava DuVernay does things about Black rights and African-American rights. And I realized, I was like, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about women's rights because I think that, you know, we're equal, we're human, we're awesome. So I just sort of honed into what made me happy, and it kind of blossom into this whole career that I'm so grateful and thankful for.
It sounds like you've got like a lot of training behind the scenes. So before we get to the promotion that everybody's talking about, this big movie that you have coming out, I really want to get to the bottom of, like, where did you go to school? Like, or did you have like, you know, just kind of like a natural niche or something like that? Like, what was the background of the fabulous Sassy?
Thank you. That's a great question. I mean, so I wanted to be a film director since I was a little kid. You know, I knew I wanted to do theater, film. I went to a really awesome public middle school and high school that helped foster what your goals were, what your inclinations were. And I started directing there. And then I got into Chapman University here in California. And while I was at Chapman, you know, I made my first feature film, which was an indie film, and it's actually streaming on Amazon Prime now. It was a insanely hard project to take on. It was me, you know, I was 19, so was everyone else involved. And we learned so much in the process, and we ended up making our money back and getting distribution and launching some careers. And, you know, how I sort of stumbled into it was, I think, like, not taking no for an answer. There's so many people who want to shut the doors in your face, especially when you're young, you know, and also when you're young, you don't know the rules and you're kind of brazen about stuff. And I just sort of always knew I wanted to do this. So whenever anyone tried to stop me, I just said, well, that's your opinion. I'm going to go do this, you know? And so that's kind of how I got into it. I mean, it's been a long, crazy ride. I got into professional filmmaking through social media and branding, you know, about like, 2012. And through that, you know, people started hiring me to make commercials and make content for whether they were singers or they lawyers needed commercials, you know, politicians needed content done. And that's how I was able to segue from sort of amateur filmmaking, which I had done from college up to that point, to professional filmmaking. I can go into more details if you want, but that's sort of the brief synopsis of the story.
What was the name of that indie project? Can you tell us a little bit about the film?
Yeah, it's called Happy Holidays. Right now on Amazon, Happy Holidays, the director's cut is streaming. It's a indie rom-com about a painter coming of age. May or may not be based off of my actual life. I'm going to say may or may not. But, you know, it's about a girl in college who's struggling with moving on from her past and embracing her future and moving to a new part of the country. And it actually, like, you know, it launched my career. The composer of it, He just won his second or third Oscar, for Sinners. You know, the editor of it, he just edited the John Wick movies, and one of the produces at HBO now. And, you know, we were having people like PayPal us to get this money. Yeah, it's a really sweet story. It's Christmas themed. It's about growing up, and it's truly that those emotions you have when you're 18 years old. There's no other way, you know, when like your first love and you break up and it's like the most devastating thing, and no one knows love like you do, like, you know, that type of thing. All of that is exactly what that film is from a very 19-year-old's perspective.
You know, I myself just so happen to be a big fan of the holidays and Christmas. So I'm just going to throw this out here. If you do ever have another holiday film, like, please consider me for casting.
For sure.
For it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, there's so many holiday movies being made. I would not rule out that I would do another holiday film. There's like a 80% chance that will happen in my lifetime.
Positive Power fans, if you guys want to see Sassy Mohen do another holiday movie and maybe, you know, your girl Ginger star in one of her films, we're just going to throw it out there. Comment below if you want to see it happen. Maybe we'll talk to the director and see what happens in the future.
If you would like to watch the full interview, it will air on May the 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you guys there!